think despite their key mission of independence, the SNP are fundamentally a party of the status quo. I think we've seen that through the past almost 2 decades of government. We see that through their choice of the next First Minister, and I think we saw that through Humza Yousaf's time in office as well. And look, there's a lot of good stuff that I thought came from Humza Yousaf, particularly in his leadership bid, and also, ironically, his resignation statement, chat around progressive taxation, for instance. But while in the office of First Minister, he was very good at talking the talk, but walk the walk he did not. And I think we saw that most clearly during, for instance, this year's Scottish budget, a budget which I think was defined by the council tax freeze, a freeze that he announced unilaterally at SNP conference back in October without having spoken to the Greens, in a breach of the Butte House agreement, but most importantly without having spoken to the local authorities whose democracy he was overruling, in a clear breach of the Verity House agreement as well. And that budget decimated public services, not just locally as a result of the council tax freeze, but nationally as well. Look at the housing budget, for instance, budgets for colleges, for further education, essential working class institutions where we've currently got workers in the public sector having to strike just for a fair pay deal. And something that really got to me at the time was that so much of the rhetoric, so much of the opposition to that budget was coming from the right. Labour were attacking it from the right, and the Greens had negotiated behind closed doors as part of the Butte House agreement. So there was no real left-wing opposition to that budget. So while now with a new SNP government coming in, I don't think an awful lot is going to change. But what I do think is that now that the Butte House agreement is over, it's a clear opportunity for the Greens to be back in that seat of progressive opposition, using their voice to make sure that we're defining the left-wing narrative, making sure that we're being clear that public services have to be funded properly. We need wealth redistribution in this country, and our public services cannot continue to be decimated as they have previously been.